What's up, yuns? You already know it's the trifecta of dudes here talking about this show, what's called Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. I said that right,
Yeah.
didn't mess it up once, yeah. So we have, as always, Hogs Wars up there. You see him, and then I'm over here, boy, and then you have Yellow Boy. Long return from his trip to the Hamptons, and he also climbed the mountains of Nepal. That guy right there at Mount Everest in Tibet and all that. I look at him over there with his jet set and wine glass. How's it going,
Right.
guys?
Sipping the
What's up?
Chardonnay.
Yeah, sipping a bit of the bubbly, if you will. I'm over here with this American domestic.
Yeah, I know
Uh,
I'm
Continue
gonna be the
on.
poor dude with this.
Continue on, he says. Continue
Continue
on,
on.
he says.
Continue on. Continue on.
So, man, yeah, like the show started out with a pre-show, what they called the Death Before Dishonor 0 Hour, which
Ooh.
had a few couple of matches on it. It had Colt Cabana versus Anthony Henry, Eli Awesome and Cheeseburger, known as the Shinobi Shadow Squad versus the Trustbusters. You
Just
had Blake
busters.
Christian, Tony Deppen, and Alex Zane versus the Embassy and Brian Cage, and then you had Allison Kay versus Willow Nightingale to start it
Ooh.
off. So
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, it was a pretty good little pre-show. I don't think anything really stood out to me. I mean, did anything stand out to you guys about it? Because it was a show. I don't know what else to say about it.
It was the prelims, and I mean, they didn't really fit into the main storyline of anything, but it was very entertaining. Uh, Most definitely for me, Willow Nightingale, her match with Allison Kay was if we were to choose a match from the 0 hour, that would be my favorite.
Yeah, man, because that like the finish of it was awesome. Because Willow won by hitting like a pretty nasty Liger bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you drinking some Mountain Dew over there? What is that in that glass? That's something you brought back with you from Hyannisport, Massachusetts, when you visited Ted DiBiase, ain't it?
Right. When
Not
you were in
Ted
the ham
DiBiase.
enjoying
Yo,
thyself.
Not Ted
yo, maybe you
DiBiase.
know what it was.
Let's just say
Ah,
I may or may not have had some conversations with Mr. McMahon before his retirement and with Nick Khan and some of the business that they may be doing moving forward for WWE.
that's what I'm
May or
talking about.
may not have.
Did you
That's a
tell him
beautiful
about my
thing.
beef I had with him though about that credit card's high interest rates? I got heat with you, Nick Khan, on that baby. You already
Right.
No,
know.
but I have been trying to be in talks with the Wampler's Sausage Farm to see about getting Hogs Wars a sponsorship. So we're in conversations with that as well. So
Yo.
NIL, baby. Let's go.
So I'm just going to recap real quick the 0 hour. Colt Cabana wins his match. The Trust Busters ended up winning after Davari hits a splash. Embassy and Brian Cage win their match, and then of course we said Willow Nightingale goes over Allison Kay. So we're gonna move on to
Mhm.
the main show. Now I thought the interesting spot of the main show is just right off the cuff. It was Gresham versus Claudio for the Ring of Honor Championship.
Right.
Uh,
I
what you
will
think
throw in
about
there
that, man?
before
Yeah.
before you get started that they did make the announcement that they had a coin toss between that match and what became the main event match for the tag team championship. So that's why Claudio Castagnoli um, and Jonathan Gresham was the first match. So just want to throw that out there.
So Hogs Wars, man, I know you were pretty opinionated about this, as was I, but not as much as you. How'd you feel about it, man?
First, I thought it ended nowhere near the way I thought it would. I mean, I guess it's like first and foremost, the match was a lot shorter than it should have been. That's number one.
Yeah, it was
And
about
two,
10 minutes.
right, and then two is like you knew what was gonna happen when the match was the first match on the card. I don't care what they said. That match could be anywhere else, but as soon as the first match on the card, you knew what the was going to win, and it really kind of cheated me off because I'm like, yes, thanks, another WWE guy does something. I mean, granted, we all know he ain't won a title in forever at anything outside of a tag team one, so
Mm-hmm.
finally, quote unquote, giving him a title is nice, but it's like the timing just seems so off. But
So for those of you that ain't figured it out, Claudio goes over Gresham, which is something that I think was, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, Yellow Boy was in and out because he was doing business deals and selling stocks and crypto and all that other stuff he does. But I think he may have caught a little
NFTs
bit
and
of that one.
stuff.
I did. There was a couple of spots in there that, I mean, let's be real. Jonathan Gresham isn't the tallest man, but he is one of the
True.
strongest men because him and Castagnoli were some big horses. But one of the main spots that I really enjoyed was Castagnoli doing a gut wrench to Jonathan Gresham from outside on the apron and bringing him back in. He kind of struggled a little bit, but he finally just kind of muscled him over that top rope and just threw him on in, which I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was rather impressive. Um, and also suspicious by his absence in the 0 hour and during this match was Tully Blanchard, because if I'm not mistaken, Tully Blanchard had been on AEW television and he was the are offering his managerial services to Jonathan Gresham.
And
And
he was
in
doing
this
a good job
match,
with it too.
well, it just started with him, but what is Khan and the other fellow? What are their tag team? What is that tag team?
Oh, the embassy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, that's them, the Embassy. He was already doing it with them and Brian Cage, so
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't there. It was the Prince.
Yeah.
He came out, and I don't know. I didn't see anything on the old dirt sheets, so it didn't say anything. Maybe there's something that's out there now, but suspicious by his absence was Tully Blanchard. That's kind of what I wanted to note on that.
That's right,
Definitely.
man. It's because he got a hold of Jim Herd, and Jim Herd wasn't going to renew his contract because he failed a wellness test at the WWF, baby.
All of
Anyway,
a sudden.
yeah. So, that match is what it was, and it kind of sucked the wind out of it for me. To rolling into the next match, though, was the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Championships of the Universe, which was which was Dalton Castle and the boys against the champions, the Righteous, which is Vincent, Dutch, and Bateman. So, man, I don't really know what to say about this match. I didn't have a whole lot of things that I thought was super cool. It's good to see the boys. There's some little East Tennessee born and bred type fellas, and it's good to see them have a spot on a major promotion somewhere. But man, this match was good. Dalton Castle actually impressed me a few times throughout the match
Mm-hmm.
because he had some like deadlift type suplexes he had done on a couple of the bigger guys. So I don't know, man. What did y'all think?
It was okay. It didn't suck, but it was okay. You
He
know.
said it.
So
Said it.
man.
He said the thing.
He said the words.
he said the thing. But
He said the thing.
you know, it's one of those matches where you're just like, okay, it's a wrestling match, great, it entertaining, but nothing to write home about. And I give you credit. The boys did a good job, at least being different and trying to do a little extra here and there. But other than that, it's just another. You could almost say indie match, but you really don't want to say that because it just sounds so passe. But that's pretty much what it was.
And just to kind of piggyback off of you, no pun intended, Hogs Wars, but just to piggyback off of you, um, I do believe that they're trying to give the boys their individuality. They call them by their names, Brandon and Brent,
Mhm.
making sure they did that. Also, again, to kind of bring up something that you, Hogs Wars, had said during the match, why is it that we have a lot of big men who decide they want to do that senton over the top rope
Right.
and barely get over the top rope because
Right, about kill everybody.
Dutch about killed himself jumping over the top rope
Yeah.
and barely clearing it. But yeah, I don't have too much to add. I will say that it is good seeing Dalton Castle and the boys on Ring of Honor / AEW television because it was in question for a while if they were going to be booked on the show because no one had heard anything about them being completely signed to a contract. So, but it was good to see that they made it on the show and also retain.
Yeah.
Or no, they won. They
They
didn't
won.
retain.
Yeah,
They
yeah. They
became new
They
accepted.
won.
champs.
Yeah, they became
New
the
champs.
champs. Yeah, they did.
New
So
champs.
yeah, I don't
New,
have
new, new,
anything else
new,
to add. Do do do. Go ahead and say it, dude. I know you're gonna say it.
new champs.
New champs.
New
Two. Sweet. Yeah. So I'm moving right along. The next match was the Pure Championship between Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. So Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta. Yuta being the champion, of course. Nobody knows about the Pure Championship out there in the world. The Pure Championship is a title that has kind of like a little bit more odd rules than other things do. Like there's so many rope breaks you get. You can't do close hand punches. You can slap the absolute bejesus out of somebody, but you better not have a
Right.
balled fist. And yeah, man. I mean, I'll pop off real quick. I thought that the match itself was pretty good, technical.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of chain and reversals. I thought, which is what that title is supposed to be for. So I think they have the title on the right guy. But I just want to see a little bit more because they promoted the crap out of that match where Wheeler Utah was
Mm-hmm.
basically making fun of Daniel Garcia for being crippled, and then he came back and was like, "Yeah, I was in this car wreck, and the only person that cared about me was Chris Jericho." But Yellow Boy, what'd you think about it, man?
Well, I will defer and pass it over because I know that Hogs Wars has a lot more that he wants to say, and we'll sandwich this thing because of the fact that I think Hogs Wars feels a little bit indifferent to this. So, Hogs Wars, what did you think about
He said sandwich.
it?
Wow. Okay.
Feel
well,
like.
well, first off, it once again it was okay. Um, I am getting to the point where it seems like they're pushing Willie Yuta a little much. It seems like yeah, he's decent wrestler, but I still sometimes kind of feel like he's kind of missing it on some. But that slapping between the two of them at one point was awesome. I'm not gonna lie, they were
Yeah.
beating the tar out of each other. And at the end of it, the people start saying "fight forever." For all of a sudden, I'm like, "Come on, man! It's just they just beating the tar out of each other. Breathe." But and then it was a real cool spot where Daniel Garcia put him in the Regal stretch. Where I was like, "Oh, okay." And Regal was on the mic like, "Oh, okay, sure. He did it because of you. He did it because of you." I'm like, "I know, but still." But other than that, it was okay. It got the job done.
So, like I said, I'll sandwich it because I rather enjoy the match because of the fact two young and up and coming stars in the wrestling business with Daniel Garcia, who's made
Mhm.
his mark in indies and finally getting a little bit of notoriety with AEW. And to agree a little bit with Hogs Wars, I do think that Daniel Garcia needs to be showcased a little bit more.
Mhm.
The role that he's playing right now in this Jericho Appreciation Squad just doesn't do him a lot of justice.
Mhm.
And just to kind of, again, what we talked about off camera with Hogs Wars, he made mention that maybe Garcia needs to be a part of the BCC, not to be confused with the BBC, because that could be something totally different if you look that up on
Yeah.
Google.
Definitely
Right.
don't look that up. And if you do, be in incognito mode.
Yeah, but I did really enjoy it because they work very well together as far as doing the moves, and they just kind of smoothly transition from
Smooth.
one technical hold to
Mhm.
another one, and trying to put each other in submissions. To agree with Over Here Boy, I do think that the right person did win with having you to retain because of the fact that the crowd is with him. I mean, he really earned the position that he's at right now, from being
Mhm.
on Dark to being on BTE backstage and such, and then going and doing a couple of matches on Dynamite and
The
having
best
bangers with
friends.
with
Right.
the best friends and doing bangers with Moxley.
Yeah.
Really, proving himself. I really enjoyed the match. I think for me, it was my match of the night. But Over Here Boy,
Mhm.
what else? You,
Yeah.
you got anything else?
Now the one thing, like I said, man, is Utah got him in a type of like a clutch pin in
Mm-hmm.
which nobody in their right mind would probably be able to fight out of that, and he did not. So it made perfect
Mhm.
sense for it to finish that way, man. I definitely agreed with it. So that was awesome. So, anywho, oh yeah, I will say something though is Daniel Garcia hit one of the nastiest power drivers I ever seen in my
Oh
life
yeah,
on
yeah,
Wheeler
yeah. That
Utah in that
was
match,
pretty
and
pretty
I just wanted
brutal.
to I just wanted to throw that out there before we move on to the next one, which was Dragon Lee versus Rush. That's right, I said Rush. But for those of you in the know, it's Roosh. And they are
Whoosh.
brothers, in case you don't know. But this match to me was one that kind of, didn't make it made sense because it was a match for what it was. But at the same time, the amount of times they said brothers in that match, bro,
Man,
like they really
see,
drove that point home. So yeah, I'm gonna
if
let
you
you go
the
didn't know
amount,
too
by
on that.
then, you knew afterward.
Yeah, if you
well,
didn't
the
know they were
amount of time
brothers,
that
yeah,
no, I was going to say the amount of times that they said brothers probably had Hulk Hogan's shorts a little bit
Right.
shorter than the amount of times they said brother. But
brother
I'm
was
sorry.
that
Go ahead.
smell, brother.
Dookie.
Yeah. So, Hogs Wars, man, did you like the match? Was it entertaining?
Oh man, heck yeah, that was a very hard hitting match. I think the thing that got me the most when Roos was sitting on the table and Dragon Lee just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna jump out here and tattoo you.
Yeah, he lawn darted himself onto him.
God, that was so nasty.
I
That broke
will.
him and his back at the same time.
We can
But
continue
other
to
than that,
talk
that's
about
pretty.
this yet, but Roosh did go over. But the thing I
Mhm.
thought was weird at the beginning of it is they did the code of honor or whatever it is. They shook hands, but
They hugged.
Roosh kind of did little dirty tactics and played to the heartstrings of
Mhm.
Dragon Lee a little bit throughout the match, and that's what helped him get the W. So,
Yep.
Yellow Boy, you got anything else to add to that, boy?
No, not much to add to that. I just like you said, they did play on the. It was a little botchy at the end to me. It looked like they kind of, I don't know if they rushed, no, no pun intending, rushed something or if something just was off kilter. But the end,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of
Like it
didn't
missed
hit.
something.
Yes, it didn't quite hit, but it was a good match overall.
But you know that you say that's funny. It's like it almost like they went through the match at such a pace, but the overall card wasn't super long. Like it didn't go long, so it wasn't like
Mhm.
that they ran through it because of time constraints, like you said. It was just awkward. It wasn't. I don't know, man. I want to see if they do anything else with that because, like, did they just bring him in to work with Roosh, or is he going to have something going forward? Because he's done a lot of work with New Japan previously,
Hmm.
and then of course down in Mexico and stuff like that. So I don't know, but the next match was the Ring of Honor Women's Title with the champion being Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb, baby. And I will tell you first and foremost off of this match, like I always enjoy seeing Serena Deeb go to town because she just for some reason reminds me of Dean Malenko, man. So calculated, gets in there and does the job. Makes sure that and she works the body parts and that she just like an old school technician, and that's what I love about her. But
Mhm.
I mean, there was one part for me when Mercedes had her in that she had her in that Brass City sleeper off the top rope. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
oh man, I was like, she's gonna like something bad's gonna happen. If she fell straight down, it'd be brutal. But
Death.
yeah, man, Yellow Boy, I'll throw it to you, and you can pass the ball if you want to after this. But how'd you feel about it, man?
I do appreciate it. I think it went better than Martinez's match at the last Ring of Honor show. A lot of more crowd participation. It wasn't as, and I think the placement kind of had something to do with it because they were placed kind of weird on the last show. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, they were placed kind of in the
Mhm.
middle of the show, so it wasn't
Right.
necessarily the palate cleanser. It was, kind of crescendoing back up with the show. Again, like you had referred to, Serena D always comes with just her technical prowess, how WWE let her go and only made her a trainer and didn't have her performing on camera. I'll never know. I'll continue to say that. Um, I do
Mhm.
think, however, it may be a misstep not putting a championship on D from Martinez, but AEW / Ring of Honor, they've earned my trust in building storylines and such like that. Not so much with the women, but they have been
Mhm.
building it so much to, the storyline. So I'm willing to give them a fair chance to see what's going to happen with Martinez and as they continue to build this Ring of Honor brand. But I enjoyed it. Not as much as I liked the Wheeler Garcia match, but I enjoyed the match. But Hogs Wars. I'll pass it to you, man.
Just a lot of brutal spots, a lot of beautiful wrestling, and it's like
Beautiful.
very beautiful because some of the transitions Serena Deeb does is just stupid,
Mhm.
just insane,
Yeah, it really
and
is.
especially the one when she transitioned to the Tequila Sunrise, and we just like, oh, it's over with, it's over with, and then here comes Martinez with her own beautiful transition out of it. So it's like you can tell it was a. I think, like you said, part of it is I really think Serena Deeb knows how to wrestle with who she's in the ring with, so she brings the best out of them, and that's my thing about your champion. It's usually that's who you want to be a champion, not the other way around.
Right.
And that's
Hmm.
the part that I think that's what bothers me about it, especially with the fact that that crowd was behind her. They were ready for her to win.
Hmm.
You know, that crowd, like with Claudio during the first match. Yeah, I might have hated what happened, but the crowd was with it. They was like, dude, if he don't hurry up and win this goddamn belt, we about to riot. So I'm like, I can respect the reasoning, but in their match, it just seemed like we're doing the same old thing, but unless she just didn't want it. I don't understand why she didn't get it, especially as much as she's been doing lately.
Right.
She's been rocking right now.
A
And it's like if,
workhorse.
if Thunder Rosa wasn't Thunder Rosa right now, she wouldn't have the belt right now.
Yeah,
Just
that's
being
true.
real.
Agreed.
So
So
that's
you're gonna put one on Claudia, you need to put one on her.
yeah. She for me, man, it's like how many times can you have her lose matches that she gets put into like that before it starts hurting their stock?
Right.
Hmm.
Of course, having to say that, you guys probably figured out that Mac tonight goes over with the Brass City Sleeper. So,
that was
so
dirty.
you want to get
So
up there,
dirty.
baby? Tell
So
you something
dirty.
right now, yo. What's that? Don't spit out your Malort, that Mad Dog you got in that glass over there, my boy.
Not the Mad Dog.
20 twins. But you said something about Riesling. I think Hogs
Super
Wars and Yellow
slim
Boy. That's what
slim.
he's got going on in there. What are you drinking on? What is that?
I can't really tell you. It's very aged. It's very expensive, and you wouldn't be able to afford it. So carry on.
Wow, that boy's
Yes,
drink.
we
That
got
boy's
we got to be
drinking
we got to be
liquor.
part of the poorest and drink this
He's
old
he's
Elijah
drinking
Premium.
liquors, yeah, boy. I'm over here with this just a little Jaeger shot that I still have because I didn't lose a bet. But he's over there. He's over there drinking liquors out of them Nazi Fabergé eggs and stuff. I
Right.
see. I see
Whoa,
what it
whoa,
is.
whoa, whoa, whoa. We're not Vince
You
McMahon
said,
over here.
buddy. You said you was hanging out with
Right, you
VKM. I
hanging out with
know.
him? Hey,
Yo,
say,
I'm hanging out with him, but I'm not drinking out of that. That's his baby egg, that
are you
Fabergé
original? Yeah. What's up?
egg.
Anyway, so the next match rolling up is the Ring of Honor television title. They doing too much work for the TV belt again, and it is between Samoa
man,
Joe, who is the champion, and Jay Lethal,
man,
ain't it? Yeah. So, man, I'm gonna tell
suck
you
the
what,
wind
dude.
out of the place.
For me, I thought the match was good. Samoa Joe matches though are getting because you called a few spots, Yellow Boy, and the same with me.
Mhm.
They're getting very like you know what's going to happen kind of before it happens, but except
John Cena. Da, 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 da.
exactly. But when Joe teased a top rope muscle buster at one time that I thought, oh buddy, if he hits that, Jay Lethal will die. There'll be no Ric Flair's last match because he ain't making it there.
He's going TJ Wilson his butt.
Right.
Oh, too soon.
Finish him off.
Too
Finish him
soon.
off.
Too
Speaking of
soon.
which, T.J. Wilson, you need to go after Jim Ross. You know why, man.
Jim Ross, right?
Yo,
Somebody called the
so
horny police on Jim Ross.
so
Lord.
Hogs Wars. Did you like this match or no?
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I love this match. This match did not suck at all. This was awesome. And especially because they didn't even start the match until about 15 minutes in after they were fighting outside the ring. Samoa Joe got put through a table by Singh. It was just wonderful brutality. And then they started the match. So he
yeah.
was starting back in the eight ball. So yeah, I love the way that ended. That was a beautiful match. And then the false finishes was so great. And then Jay Lethal looking like, what do I got to do, man? What do I got to do?
Yeah. To
Love,
Wampler back on
love.
what Hogs Wars just said right there. Singh did put to slam to Samoa Joe on it, and he got kicked out. Like the referee told him to kick rocks. Send him on his way, brother. But I didn't mean to
Tell
cut
him.
you off, but like you
Tell him.
did say that before the match got started and he got beat up. Yeah, they did make him go from ringside. So, did you have anything else to add, Hogs Wars, to before we pass it over to the
No, man,
quintessential
just
jet
that
setter?
beautiful finish, and that's it, man.
Buddy, I can't believe I just opened this Jaegermeister bottle. This is gonna be bad.
Yeah, you ain't gonna sleep good.
Salute.
Stomach is not gonna be friendly with you. But no, it ended really well because with him being able to transition into another transition into on the clutch, yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And so after that and taking, Jay Lethal's move a couple times, yeah, that's the way to end it.
That's it.
So that's all.
Nothing to add, but can we just say that the lethal injection is not very practical for a move? You've got to do
So
a backwards handstand, back spring to be able to hit a
mhm.
cutter like that. Like, why not just clip his hands when he's going back for the back spring? Just clip his hands from up under him and let him crash on his neck.
Sweep him, boys. Yo.
Yeah.
Pull a Randy Orton,
He,
just come out of
he
nowhere with
he's
it.
won he's won championships with that cut though. Like, come on,
I
dude.
Yeah.
know.
To me,
I
any
know.
any big maneuver, like y'all know how it is. I'm that guy. I want to get in there and put somebody in a stretch hold. I ain't got time for these big flashy moves. And it's so weird to me because Jay Lethal, yeah, that's a flashy move, but he's like one of the most technically sound wrestlers in the world.
Right.
And he's doing stuff like that. But that's his deal. That's his gimmick. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a booker, so I'm not gonna say.
Nope.
But like anybody that sits there and thinks in the realm of realism that that's something that's practical, like you said, bro, how does that not destroy your suspension of disbelief? Like, had that old boy existed back in the Jim Crockett promotion days, he would have had his butt kicked all over the place for doing something like that.
Right.
Anyway,
Like, what are you doing?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, Samoa Joe. If you didn't pick up from what Hogs War said, he snatched on a Kokona clutch. Is that it? Coquina clutch,
There you go.
Coquina.
and it is it,
And
man.
listen syllables.
Jay Lethal, yeah. I'm Appalachian, man. You know I miss all kinds of stuff here now. So the last and final match of the card was for the Ring of Honor tag titles, and that was between the champions FTR versus the Briscoes, and it was the
Oh,
best
seven
out of
star
three.
FTO.
It was the 2 out of 3 falls match, baby. And this match, right off the cuff, me and Yellow Boy were talking when he was in and out. You know, he was cooking some sort of grouse eggs or something. I don't know what it was he had going on, but he said he had to run and check it because he didn't have
Quail.
Checking on his prime rib.
he
Quail.
was cooking,
On
and he said what happened is he didn't reduce his duck fat enough when he was cooking the stuff in the duck fat. Anyway, he comes back and he immediately almost goes to sleep. I said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Man, this match right now off the cuff." It did. It got to a super slow start, but
because the last match was so good that it took the air out their sails. It really
but
did.
baby, they told a big story in that match. Then it got
Yes, they
off
did.
the rails throughout the thing. I will go ahead and tell everybody who wins the match right quick, but then we will expand on it. But FTR did retain, and it was an amazing finish. But
Yes.
anyway,
Yes.
Yellow Boy, you got anything to say on this? I know you were back and forth cooking, dinosaur eggs and making your dookie twinkle because you put diamonds in that boy. But you know what it is. Look at
Letting
that.
that truffle oil roll.
Truffle oils.
But no.
Picking out illegal ginseng from the mountains. I got you. It's all good.
It's eugenics.
Frank Thomas for the win, baby.
Hey, he was ready for you. He had you back.
Doug Flutie, baby.
Yeah, both day. They're in my neighborhood cutting grass just like commercials. But no, FTR has organically become the uber babyface. If the tag team doesn't become tag team of the year, and if Dax does not become wrestler of the year when they do those
Right.
the ratings and rankings and stuff at the end of the year. I think it's PWI, PW Insider, because they just organically got over it. Like the crowd fully was into them. Of course, like over here, boy, just like you just said, man, it started off a little bit slow, I mean, because it was telling a story, it was being psychological, it was getting
Mm-hmm.
off to that old school wrestling, old school tag team start where you're going slow and just kind of working yourself into that match. And then it went crazy. Now, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I don't think anybody in that arena thought that the Briscoes were going to walk out with those tag team championships. I just don't think that anybody just believed that. But I will say that after they won the first fall, so I will give that away before I toss it over to Hogs Wars. When they did that, and over here, boy, you said something about those doomsday devices because that's how the first fall was won by the Briscoes. It could have
Mm-hmm.
been worse than what it was with those doomsday because it wasn't just one. It was one for the fall,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't the only doomsday device in that match. So
Mm-hmm.
it, I enjoyed it for what it was, especially the second third of the match as it went through because it started to pick up and it started to get like just really brutal. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm rambling at this point. So Hogs Wars, what'd you see in the match?
Well, definitely that second fall was the best of the three. That and the insane finish that I still can't believe that was the finish. It just was like wow. But definitely with them all of a sudden just literally coming out of nowhere with the big rig and
Mm-hmm.
everybody blowing up like no freaking way because it literally just came. You know, we always say that about Randy Orton's freaking what's called it RKO out of nowhere. That literally came out of nowhere because it's not like they weren't even together most of that part of the match. Where it's like
Right.
it is here, there,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, and all of a sudden at the right time, wham! So it's like that fall was really great, but man, that ending was awesome. It really was because the way they built the story from it. And I mean, I probably beat it a little bit. I was ready for the Briscoes to go ahead, if nothing else, go ahead time it out, so they had to do one more match or something like that. But man, for him to win like that, it's just nutty. I'm gonna let old over here boy finish it off for me because I can't remember
So
every part of it
I
right
I
now.
remember I remember enough about it because I'm your resident beer expert and I've been imbibing all kinds of beers and stuff like that. That's not true. But to cut into it, Hogs Wars was talking about there was a lot of stuff that happened between the second fall and the final fall, and it was Jay Briscoe hit a multiple version, his finisher. He hit it twice on Dax, and he kicked out both times. They hit multiple other finishers as well, and that's the thing I was going to say about the Briscoes. The FTR relies very heavily on the big rig, but the Briscoes, man, they have like a bunch of different finishing holes that they could hit you with from anywhere, man. So I'm surprised that FTR ended up retaining. And the reason why they did is because it was a lot of false finishes, a lot of kickouts until Dax came off the middle rope with a pile driver on Jay Briscoe, and he pile drived him like down straight up. And then the way he rolled over, he had enough presence of mind that he just kind of hooked his feet onto Jay's chest in order to pin him, and it was a 1, 2, 3. And then yeah, man, that match was awesome. And then after the count, they went out there and they took the mic and said, "I effing love this sport and I love wrestling." He said, and Dax said how much he loved his family and kids, but this time he said he loves all the people out there watching because it gave them a second chance in life. And then what happened? Anybody else want to say?
Just a Blackpool Combat Club come out stood out
Yo,
there like they was really about to do something. Willie Yuta and old Claudio out there like, hey, I guess we're gonna be our next opponent. So outside of that, that pretty much ended the show.
yeah, man. Y'all have any final thoughts on this boy? Because I mean, for me, it just seems like they're burying any whatever used to be Ring of Honor. Like, why are you even doing Ring of Honor pay per views? You need some sort of episodic TV to make me care about your product instead of just saying, "Oh, we got these AEW dudes that's rolling in on this show and winning all your titles." But that's just me. What do you guys think?
I'll throw in my opinion. This is not report. This is only opinion. So what I think it is that obviously AEW has just catapulted itself into the wrestling world and has a lot of new new eyes on their product and such. And not that many people, unless they were real loyal fans and marks, to say the least, knew about Ring of Honor before all of the stuff that's happened with Ring of Honor went down. So I'm thinking that AEW is kind of at the moment using the AEW stars and the AEW contracted stars, that is, to possibly elevate the Ring of Honor programming or just the platform itself in order to hopefully branch itself off and do its own thing. This is just my opinion, though. That's kind of what I think that they're doing. Is it fair to the Ring of Honor originals that have been there and such? No. That if you look across the board and look at who's holding their championships, it's AEW contracted wrestlers and the Ring of Honor. But I think that's also because a lot of the Ring of Honor original wrestlers haven't, either they're waiting for their contracts that they had when it was ending to complete. And I think all of them except for Rick Cabani was their contracts ended. So I don't know if they've renewed some of them. I know there's a few because obviously they're showing up on AEW programming or they're showing up on Dark and such like that. Um, have signed AEW / Ring of Honor contract, but still Ring of Honor, their people still need to have that respect because they've been working hard, and a lot of them, like your Jonathan Grisham, have been carrying that Ring of Honor flag for the longest, and just to see them lose their championships or just lose out to a bunch of AEW people isn't fair to them. So
Hogs Wars, you got something to add to that, bro?
Yeah, because I agree wholeheartedly with my bud over there. I get the whole idea that this is Ring of Honor and you want to quote unquote input some blood, but let's face it, the last two pay-per-views, you have literally switched champions on them twice. I mean, there has to be a point where you're like, no, we need to actually push these people that have freaking been there. Now we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't, work there day to day, so we don't know the ins and outs of what's going on. But part of my problem is you bought this thing and then you decided all the old WWE guys, we got too many of, we need to go ahead and let them win titles in here because we don't really want to ruin what we got going on right now. That's what it seems to me. And that's only going to work for so long. You got a lot of homers who are going to come to these. They're not very big. There's not a lot of people going on. And then eventually everybody's going to finally just get tired of it. And they're going to be like, when we're going to start actually watching the show that we've been waiting you to bring out? We're tired of watching only AEW. Great. It's wonderful. But when are you going to bring our show back so we can watch our stuff? So all this
right.
stuff can intermingle like it's supposed to. And when
Mm-hmm.
they finally, realize the same thing that, Jim Ross and everybody else had to realize back in the Attitude Era that, yeah, one monkey don't stop no show, but you can't do 40 shows with one goddamn guy. Eventually you got to put somebody else in that seat. So when he
I,
finally gets, to where he can let somebody else run another show, then maybe he'll get there. That's all.
I, I do want to throw out there though, because a lot of IWC likes to use the ex WWE. We throw that around, don't throw it around too much because when they're in WWE, we don't say that they're ex Ring of Honor guys. We don't say that
Mhm.
they're ex Impact guys usually. But when they go from WWE to somewhere else, they're usually classified as ex WWE guys. And that's an unfair assessment. It's just recency bias for that person
Mhm.
because let's face it, WWE is the biggest brand in this country, in this world, or whatnot. And it's something that most people can identify with when they're in WWE. Don't want to lean on it too much to where where they're ex WWE people. Okay, they were ex wherever people before they became ex WWE. It's just that WWE gave them more notoriety than what they were in most cases, not all cases, because a lot of people were big before they went to WWE and then they got watered down and saturated when they went to WWE. But that's another story. But
Yeah, man.
I'm done.
Without getting off on a tangent about it, I'm with that. That ex WWE guy. I think my big problem with them is they're not doing anything organic, really. With what they've got. They're just kind of bringing people in that are well established, and it's working for them for now. But like that's why you also have people on Dark that could be breakout stars. Like let's move them and do a Ring of Honor with them or something. But anyway, that's speculation. I don't know, man. Do y'all have anything else? Because I think we're done talking about it.
Not on this. I will say just a programming edit. Sorry to the people, and as I always say,
You people.
you people. Sorry to you people, programming edit, because unfortunately, a shot of brew will be preempted for the next 2 weeks. I'm having some difficulty with um, my Wi-Fi here where I stay. Unfortunately, I have to get some people to come out. They're gonna have to fix it. It's a big deal. And the next weekend is SummerSlam weekend, so we will not have a shot of brew obviously during SummerSlam weekend. But again, you people, we may have something in order for you for next week. So that's all I have on the programming side with Shot of Brew. So that's all I have. Cheers.
Well, that ain't all you have because I'm going to tell yous right now where we can be found. You can find me on all the social media platforms at Over Here Boy, and that's your Twitter, your Instagram, your TikToks, and also they got the Bros, Brews, and Botches over on the TikToks as well. And we can follow that over there at Bros, Brews, and Botches. We're on Twitch at Bros, Brews, and Botches, at YouTube, which you're seeing right now, at Bros, Brews, and Botches, and at Instagram at Bros underscore Brews underscore and underscore Botches. And you can find Hogs Wars. I'll just go ahead and tell because every time we ask him, he never says. You can find him at Wamplers in East Tennessee, baby, because he knows what's up. And Yellow Boy, where can they find you?
They can find me at your mom's house drinking some Chardonnay, butt naked with flip flops on. But other than that, on social media, you can find me on
Have
Twitter
some blue
at
blockers.
with some blue blockers on. I don't wear blue blockers. Get out of here. You know, it's only the finest of Oakleys for me. But
Or ball blockers.
Baller blocking. Baller blocking.
but you can find me on Twitter at badass yellow boy. That's BADAZZ underscore YELLABOI. And that's all for now. I forget. I made a TikTok, but I don't use it. So too busy making deals and dealing with folks and trying to make my next trip to the Hamptons. So
Yeah, y'all stay tuned. Check out the TikToks because that's definitely probably where I'll be posting some stuff from the SummerSlam weekend next weekend. And if y'all ain't got nothing else, Hogs Wars, you good?
Crystal, buddy.
All right. Yellow Boy, you good? We all
good.
good then. So as always, I'm gonna throw them deuces.